Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast. You know, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, go ahead, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. And shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. Now, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So I don't know about you, but definitely want to check out some concerts, some games. So I'm going to go ahead and create my account and then use that promo code to save myself $20 off my next night out when I go maybe a Kendrick Lamar concert, maybe a Chicago. Actually, it's not going to be a Chicago Bears game. Definitely not going to be that. But let's do the Kendrick Lamar concert, you know, because the boy been going crazy, man. The album been going crazy. I mean, I know it just dropped, but bro has been on another level with this album release, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about it too much, mainly because I got some other things to focus on, but it's the holidays. As you know, I told you it's going to be a funky week. It's going to be a wild, weird week in terms of when you're going to get the pod. So, yeah, that's first things first. The album dropped, and the Kenny definitely been getting some spins. Kenny been getting some spins, and I love it so far, but still waiting to give a true evaluation. Got to wait till the hype died down just a little bit. But anyway, look, let's focus back in. Let's focus in on the reason we're here, the reason we have come together to meet once more and meet again. And the main reason, the thing I want to bring to attention here as you come around and gather on this wonderful Thanksgiving day or Thanksgiving evening, the day before, the week, whatever, it don't matter. Whenever you listen to this, we're going to gather at the table and talk about these Chicago Bears because the Bears continue to disappoint. All right, now they're on a 5-game losing streak. They've lost 5 straight games in the NFL, 4-7, and this streak goes all the way back to that Hail Mary against the Washington Commanders when it was just extremely disappointing. I mean, fans damn near cried watching that game because it was bad. They had the game wrapped up, and then Jaden Daniels threw a bomb, and it pretty much just opened the game to just shambles, and it caused the Bears to lose on a very, very emotional loss. So I understand that. However, they've lost multiple games since then. It's been 4 others. After that Commanders loss, they lost to the Cardinals. They lost to the New England Patriots. Caleb Williams did not look good at all in that game. That was kind of a wake-up call for Chicago Bears fans who hadn't really been aware of how bad Caleb Williams has been so far. For all fans around the NFL, you could kind of see that this young guy has a lot to learn in the league as a quarterback, and he's still struggling on certain parts of his game. So Patriots, they ended up losing at home. They played Green Bay, they lost at home, 20-19. That was the harsh field goal, another big emotional loss for the Chicago Bears. And then you got the Minnesota Vikings, which just happened this past week. Another incredible emotional loss where they had the game. They went to overtime. Caleb Williams damn near looked pretty decent for a moment, and he was doing his thing. But all of a sudden, he just couldn't get it done in overtime. So I want to break apart this game because, you know, there's a lot of blame to go around. Obviously, new offensive coordinator, they were able to move the ball. And then some people, they're going to look at the stat sheet and be like, oh, well, damn, Caleb Williams almost threw for 400 yards. He's a great quarterback. It wasn't his fault, the reason they lost. The Bears defense should have did something. The Bears this should have did something. Oh, that should have happened. The run game, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a lot of noise about things that should have happened. And Caleb Williams, because he has the statistical numbers there, sacked 3 times, threw 2 touchdowns. A lot of people are going to overlook the performance that happened in crucial moments of the game. And when I say crucial moments of the game, specifically in this moment, I'm going to refer to overtime because that's when we seen Caleb Williams kind of fall apart. There was a possession, the last possession of the game. The man was in the pocket, probably had about 7 seconds to actually throw the ball deep, throw the ball to somebody, just get the ball out the pocket, get the ball out his hands so he didn't go down with a sack. But yet, the man stayed in the pocket, didn't throw the ball, didn't get rid of it, didn't just toss it away, whatever, held on to it as long as he did. The offensive line gave him tremendous protection on that play, so it's not their fault. It was clear it was not their fault. And then Caleb Williams took a big sack that ended up causing them to move back in yardage. And then to make it even worse, guess what the Bears did after they gave up a huge sack on 2nd and 10? They got called for a delay of game, which put them back even further for a 3rd down. So not only did they get sacked on a 2nd down, but they also got another 5-yard penalty that moved them back even further for 3rd down. So now you're looking at a 3rd and 21. That's like a 3rd and impossible to contribute on and to capitalize on. And that's the game deciding factor for the Chicago Bears offense. That's what they had to capitalize on in order to win this game against the Vikings. So it's a difficult situation. And when the Vikings got the ball back, obviously we know they went down, took care of business, scored the ball. But I bring all of this up to say not to cause more emotional damage for y'all Chicago Bears fans, but more so just because, I mean, this game here, the blame only goes so far. The blame only goes so far. I wasn't really impressed by what the Vikings were doing. The Vikings didn't have like some great performance. And truth be told, the Vikings gave the Bears multiple chances to actually come back and actually win the game. I don't know what was going on because, mind you, here at the end of the game, when the Bears did finally punt the ball on that drive that I just mentioned, there was a fumble. They muffed the punt. Bears didn't recover it. It was just like chance after chance. They were trying so hard to give them an opportunity to end this losing streak, but the Bears couldn't capitalize. But although they've been losing, there's still some upside to it. So the upside, I'll say here, Bears defense is probably the biggest upside that they have. The other upside of this whole thing that's going on with the losing streak is we know at the end of the season, everyone is very much doubting that Eberflus is going to stay head coach at the end of the season. I think I give it 2 more weeks. I've been saying that for about the past 2 weeks, but damn it, the Bears are moving extremely slow. So maybe they do let him play it out for the rest of the season. But I think everyone knows that, Eberflus is going to be gone by the end of the season. He's not going to continue his time as head coach with the Chicago Bears, which is called for. He should not remain head coach, but that's an upside. So there's going to be some sort of changes coming on to the end of the season. And another big side, too, is looking at the Bears' schedule. I highly doubt that they end up winning against the Lions next week. We'll talk about that in just a sec. I highly doubt they end up beating the 49ers, which could be a gimme, maybe. But then they play the Vikings at home, Lions again, Seahawks, and then Green Bay Packers on the road. So it's a tough schedule coming ahead. So this is going to set them up to get another high draft pick. In the lottery, they're going to be all right. They're going to be good when it comes to getting another draft pick and possibly adding some beef to this team, whether it's on the offensive line, whether it's some offensive pieces. This time, all you have to do with the draft pick is make sure you do the right thing. There was a lot of talk last year about, you should have kept Justin Fields and then grab some linemen and just build the beef up front. I'm still on that train of building the beef up front. You want to move the ball downfield, it starts with your offensive line. So that's where you got to make sure you're solid. Whether it's some backup pieces or whatever, you got to make sure that offensive line is going to be solid through all the weeks of football. And the Bears got an opportunity to do that. So that can be an upside. And then I will say, I don't know how long the Bears will keep this defense together after this season, but so far, the Bears defense has been pretty decent. There's been once in about the last 7 or 8 games where the Bears have allowed more than 20 points. So I'm not upset at what the Bears defense is doing. The Bears defense to me is probably the best thing they have going for them right now. I mean, to go 7 games, 8 games without allowing a team to score 20 points is huge. And granted, they haven't been playing the best of the best in the competition, but you played Jaden Daniels. You played the Cardinals, which is also a solid team. The Green Bay Packers landed right at 20 points, but you were supposed to win that game. And the Minnesota Vikings are another team who ended up pulling off the game, but they've been rolling on the offensive end. So only allowing 2 of those teams to actually get above 20 points or one of those teams to actually get above 20 points, that's something that's huge there. And there's also the Cardinals. Cardinals, they did a number on the Bears. Let's call it for what it was. They did a number on the Chicago Bears. They put up 30. So I did overlook that part. But I mean, keeping a majority of your opponents above 20 points is a damn good thing. It's a damn good thing. You're going to get some good offenses, but I'll say, man, it won't get any easier next week. Thanksgiving, whether it's before Thanksgiving, you listening to this or not, man, they got the Detroit Lions next week. And, you know, if I'm a Bears fan at this point, I'm kind of hoping that they hang up 50. And I know it sounds weird. It's like, why would you want them to, you know, do that, whatever. But at this point, bro, just speed up Eberflus getting fired. Come on, man. Just speed it up. Eberflus need to go ahead and get out the door. Lions putting up 50 points will help all the momentum, will help all the trade talks, will help all the firing talks to really getting Eberflus out the door and then actually turning over a new leaf. Because let's not forget, this is the Chicago Bears we're talking about. So we keep doing all this. Oh, Eberflus is going to be gone at the end of the season for sure. You never really know with the Chicago Bears. You never really know. Sometimes it's some craziness where they just might keep him around. Who knows? I mean, he's close friends with the GM. So you never really know. But, you know, I'll talk about the Lions in just a second, break them down, because I don't necessarily think they're an unbeatable team, but the game is at Ford Field. Bears are 0-4 on the road. So that's going to be a tough win. Bears coming in to Ford Field, 0-4 on the road. That's not pretty. Lions 4-1 at home. Lions been rolling. They've been doing their thing. So I don't know, man. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Going to be a rough game. Anyway, look, man. Hey, we got some more stuff coming up, but go ahead. Shoot us a quick take on a voicemail line. 219-413-9405. Leave us a quick take or questions, concerns, whatever you want to go ahead and leave on there. Go ahead, shoot us a quick call. And of course, we'll play it back on our next episode. But we got some news for the run, some updates in college football, NFL scores, and some games to look forward to on this upcoming Thanksgiving. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. It's halftime. All right, man, the news for the run, let's get into it. So we're going to start with some college football because there was some crazy things happening in college football. I can't believe some of this stuff has happened, man. My Alabama boys, I can't even believe it. I can't believe they just blew another opportunity to enter the top four, or get closer to entering the top four. So that's where I'll start. Alabama, they played an unranked Oklahoma team. And they lost. They couldn't even put up a touchdown against Oklahoma. They lost 3-24. Bama was ranked number 7. They've been fluctuating all through the top 12 all year and since the season began. But now it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing, man? I couldn't believe this game here. But anyway, there's other games that were solid. Miami, they took care of business against Wake Forest. Penn State, they beat Minnesota in a close matchup there. They ended up winning that game by 1 point, 26-25. In that Big Ten matchup, Texas, man, they smacked up Kentucky 31-14. Ohio State and Indiana was a must-watch game. And man, I tell you, by halftime, you didn't even want to watch it anymore because you just knew. You knew the game was over because Ohio State did what they does best, and they really just put BTA to Indiana, belt to ass. That's what went down. And it was rough. It was rough to watch, but Ohio State took care of business, so shout out to them. They are the number 2 ranked team in the country, or they were heading in this week. I'll give you the updated rankings in just a sec, but I mean, they did what they were supposed to do as the number 2 ranked team. Notre Dame, they defeated Army, and they actually popped Army 49-14. Now, Army was an undefeated team that was here on the rankings, but this was their first loss against Notre Dame, so now they're 9-1. Florida, they beat a ranked team in Ole Miss. Ole Miss was ranked number 9, but they ended up losing to Florida 24-17. That was another huge upset. Then you had Georgia. They took care of business by a large margin against Massachusetts, UMass, and then Tennessee. They ended up winning their game. They left their opponents on a goose egg, 56-0. Boise State took care of business. They only have 1 loss so far, but they played Wyoming, and they won 17-13. Now, Ashton Gentry, man, this dude, the Heisman candidate, he's been balling, scoring a touchdown in every game. So, I mean, he's continuing on with his success that he's seen early on in the year, and I'm glad they're still winning. But the cool thing is they were ranked number 12 heading into this week. So this is going to possibly help them move higher in the rankings and really, really give them an opportunity to play against some serious competition come playoffs, as long as they continue to take care of business and win games in the next few weeks before playoffs start for college football. Now, other than that, man, Colorado, they were a ranked team, but they went down. Colorado was ranked number 16, but they lost to Kansas, who's unranked, 21-37, a huge loss here. And this was an upset because Colorado's ranked, but this kind of hurts and destroys Colorado's chances of having a good bowl game, because now I highly doubt that they get put in the top 12 to actually compete for a national championship or compete for a solid bowl game. Other than that, man, here's the rankings that we have, the updated rankings for college football right now. So the AP poll, we have Oregon, the last undefeated team in college football. They've been on a tear, smacking every team that they've been playing. And they've been taking care of business. They're 11-0 right now. They're ranked number 1, Oregon. Number 2 is Ohio State. Texas is at number 3. Penn State at number 4. And then you have Notre Dame at number 5. Now, this is wild because Notre Dame, they went down. They had an upset. They had a big upset early on in the year. They ended up losing to Northern Illinois, which was a huge upset. They lost in week 2, and this put them way back in the rankings, down to like 15, 16. Don't remember the exact number, but this put them way down in the rankings. So to see them crawl back to number 5 is kind of crazy. I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I actually don't really like seeing Notre Dame succeed, which is weird. But, you know, it's just some of them teams, you just don't want to see them succeed. For a lot of people, it's Alabama, so they're cheering and they're super happy right now. But for me, Notre Dame has just been one of those teams where I don't really want to see them win. But they're at number 5, Georgia at number 6, Tennessee at 7, University of Miami at number 8. And then from there, Indiana, they dropped 5 slots, man. They were ranked number 5, but they moved all the way down to number 10. Boise State moved up a slot from 12. Now they're at 11. Alabama went down 6 slot. They went falling, man. Down goes Bama. They're at number 13. If the playoffs were to end right now, today, Bama would not even have a chance to compete for a national championship because it is the first 12 teams. Don't forget that. But yeah, man, it's rough. Colorado, they got the boot from the top 25, so they're no longer in there. But they had their few weeks. Oh, actually, I was wrong. I'm wrong. Colorado, they're just at 23. So they were at 16, but they dropped down to 23. So still a couple weeks left, and you never know what might happen. I mean, most teams just got about 1 game left, so who knows what'll happen in that 1 game. But Colorado better hope for some upsets in that division. I can tell you that much. Anyway, look, man, let's go to the NFL because NFL has some things happening. A lot of rumors with Aaron Rodgers going on. People were saying that Aaron Rodgers may not return to the Green Bay Packers. He may not return to the New York Jets as quarterback. It was some rumors flying around saying he wants to continue to play another year, but he does not want to play that extra year with the New York Jets. Crazy because just a year ago, he was forcing his way over to the New York Jets, and now he wants out. So to me, crybaby type of move, but whatever, bro, go off. I mean, the way he was looking this whole past year with the New York Jets, I doubt he goes anywhere and has some immediate success because there was a lot of things where it just looked like, bro, you on the old guy trend. You're on the back end of your career, bro. You just need to hang up your jersey, put it on the wall, put it in the Raptors, call it a day. Anyway, look, so here's some scores for the NFL. Outside of the New York Jets, we know they're trash. We're not going to worry about them. I believe they had a bye week anyway, so definitely nothing to worry about. But the Browns, they beat the Steelers in a close divisional matchup. This was actually a wild game because the Steelers, man, they almost didn't even make anything happen until the fourth quarter. They were surviving off field goals until the fourth quarter. But Jameis Winston came alive and ended up getting his team to win. Browns still don't have a shot in hell to making the playoffs. They're 3-8. But, I mean, this is a big momentum win for them. Anytime the Browns get a win under Jameis Winston's, you know, Browns is taking these wins how they can get them. So they got the win 24-19. The Vikings, they beat the Bears, as I mentioned. Lions smacked the Colts up 24-6. The Patriots, they ended up losing to the Dolphins. Dolphins have been on a roll. They've been looking good, trying to get back to 500. Other than that, the Cowboys, they beat the Commanders in a surprising close win, man. This game was just down to the wire. And, man, missed field goals really played a big part. All of that stuff. So it was a close game there. The Chiefs, they almost lost to the Panthers, which is kind of crazy, but they ended up pulling off the win. So, shockingly, they won. They took care of business. They only won by 3 points, 30-27. Then you got the Broncos. They beat the Raiders. Then you got 49ers. They fell short to the Green Bay Packers. They did not have Brock Purdy. So they did struggle having someone throw the ball. But, I mean, above all, hopefully Brock Purdy can return and make something happen for the San Francisco 49ers. Seahawks, they beat the Cardinals. They won that divisional matchup 16-6. Eagles, they beat the Rams. They smacked them boys up 37-20. Saquon Barkley had himself a game. Man, he had a game. 2 runs over 70+ yards. And my man's done entered himself in the MVP candidate, or as an MVP candidate, I should say. The Los Angeles Chargers, those guys fell short to the Baltimore Ravens. And, man, that was actually a solid game, but just didn't have enough to take out Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. So the Ravens won that game 30-23. Now, I'll just give you the Thanksgiving Day games. I'm not going to tell you all the other games because it's a lot of news, man. You know, it's a lot of news. Some of this information will stick, some of it won't. But I think we'll get another episode up in later on this week after the holiday. So we'll comment on these games specifically for Thursday or Friday night football because we got Friday night football. What the hell? Random. But whatever. The Bears, they play the Lions, which is going to be a beatdown, and I'll talk about that in just a sec. Giants play the Cowboys. Snooze Fest. Will not be watching that game. Personally, I'm straight. None of those teams interest me right now. Giants are 2-9. They're not. They're clearly the dumbest franchise in the NFL right now. And I don't think anybody likes the Giants for giving away Saquon Barkley to a division rival in the Philadelphia Eagles, but whatever. So kind of hope the Giants lose and get smacked, but I also don't want the Cowboys to win. So who knows? I'm not watching that game. I'll be spending time with my family. I'll be spending time with my family at 3:30 p.m. on Central Standard Time on Fox. No, I will not be watching that game. Then you got the Dolphins and the Green Bay Packers playing the primetime game for Thursday night on Thanksgiving. And then after that, man, you got the Chiefs Raiders for Friday night football. It's that whole Black Friday deal type of thing. But I kind of want to go ahead and shift gears because the Lions, they'll be playing the Chicago Bears. And I know I'm doing a lot of talking about our Midwest teams, but, you know, from Detroit to Chicago is for a reason because those are the cities that I'm closest to. And those are the cities that's near and dear to my heart. I would go to a parade to any of those cities if they were to win a Super Bowl, regardless of the age that I'm in. I would go. Lions win a Super Bowl this year. Best believe, hey, we there. Look for me. I'm going to be in Detroit for sure, without a doubt. I'm back. That's just how it's going to go. Anyway, I want to say, man, so the Lions, look, we seen the Lions last week. And the Lions, they played the Indianapolis Colts. And the score reflects a beatdown. Let's just be honest about it. The score reflects a beatdown as if the Lions really just steamrolled over them. They won 24-6, but let's be honest, if you watched the game, you were not necessarily happy about everything you've seen from the Detroit Lions. If you watched this game, you've seen the Lions look a little bit sloppy. You've seen the Lions look like they were beatable, if you will. You've seen the Lions look like they were not a 10-1 team. A team that's leading the NFC and the best in the NFC, the best rushing yards. All of these glorious stats that you see about the Detroit Lions, that necessarily wasn't the case against the Indianapolis Colts. They ended up winning this game, but the Lions should have had at least 40-something points against the Colts. Shout out to the Colts for holding it down, playing defense, and making sure that did not happen. However, the thing with the Lions is, bro, when you go against a team that has a legitimate offense, it's not going to look pretty. It's not going to look pretty because we can all sit here and laugh at the Colts for losing, for being a bad team. We can laugh at all these other teams that got 50 put up on them, the Tennessee Titans, the Jaguars, who else got, the Seahawks got 40-some put up, the Cowboys. A lot of teams done got 50 put up on them. But let's be honest, bro. These wins here, You ain't played a legit quarterback in the whole entire year. Let's be honest, all right? Because truthfully, from what I'm watching and I'm seeing the Lions go through, they playing all of these teams, I think the reality of the situation is, yeah, they're beating teams by 30 points. Yeah, they're beating teams by a large margin, but ultimately, you have not played a legitimate quarterback thus far. I haven't seen you take on a Joe Burrow. I haven't seen the Lions defense take on a Josh Allen. I haven't seen the Lions defense take on a Lamar Jackson. The best quarterback that I've seen the Lions go against was CJ Stroud. And let's keep it a buck, y'all. I'm all for being honest here. The CJ Stroud, he was out there playing with only Tank Dell and Joe Mixon. If he would have had Nico Collins and he would have had Stephon Diggs, we could have seen a completely different game. And hell, let's be honest about it too. If we would have seen one catch, then that would have been a completely different game because momentum would have shifted all over the place. But I'm all for it. Hey, Lions look good on paper. The numbers are there. The statistics look beautiful with the Detroit Lions. But I can't sit here and tell you that on a weekly basis, they're looking like a 10-1 team. Last week against the Colts, they didn't look like a flawless team. They didn't look like the team where you're like, oh, they're scary. They look like a team where it's like, oh, the Chicago Bears might actually beat them next week as long as Caleb Williams can complete a pass and gets rid of the ball. So I know the game is going to be at Ford Field. You're going to be playing the Chicago Bears, who's kind of a scrub team right now. The game is going to be at Ford Field, and Bears are 0-4 on the road. So it's looking like the Bears are about to catch BTA. They're about to get smacked up, which if I had to put money on it, I'm putting money on the Lions to smack up the Bears. But I will say, if Caleb Williams has a good game, then we could look at a different game because the Bears defense is not the bad thing that you have to be concerned about going into any games. Bears defense has been doing their job. So I doubt the Lions put up 50. I doubt it. I would be shocked. Honestly, I would be kind of surprised. Will it happen? Maybe. Should Bears fans hope for it? Maybe. But the Lions, man, they're good. They got a dynamic duo and running back. I get all of that. I know how great they are. But on a weekly basis, they're not every week looking as good as the statistics are showing. Every week, they don't look like a 10-1 team, which is okay. It's valid. I mean, hell, the Ravens don't look like they're as good as they are. The Eagles don't always look like a dominant team. A lot of teams, the Chiefs, it took them forever to lose a game, but they looked sloppy as ever. So it does happen. And I mean, hey, you want to get these type of wins out while you can, rather than the playoffs happening and everybody's on their best game, and that's when you actually slacken. But I'm gonna just say this, man. Hey, a lot of people think the Lions are unbeatable right now, but no, man. Lions, they have not played that legitimate quarterback yet that's really gonna torch them. I mean, because if you look at it, CJ Stroud ain't had no receivers. Baker Mayfield, he had his guys, and what happened? He ended up getting a win. Whatever excuse you have about, oh, well, Baker Mayfield did this, the Lions wasn't good. Hey, keep them excuses on. But I'm just saying, the Lions, they look solid. But on a week-to-week basis, they're not always as consistent against the Colts. If the Colts had an offense, we could have seen a different game. And down in this schedule, when I'm seeing Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, Josh Allen as the next few quarterbacks, whichever quarterback steps up and actually can make throws and be consistent and limit turnovers, that might be the team that sneak another win from underneath the Lions' belt. That's all I'm saying, bro. Hey, don't let the stats fool you. Don't let them stats fool you about, oh, the Lions is first in this, the first in that. First. Don't let all these statistics fool you. Watch the game, homie. Watch the game, and you will see what I mean by the Lions aren't always on their A game. Because they turn it over. They play sloppy. They get some 3-and-outs, too. Especially in the beginning of the game. You know how they start slow. So other teams who not striking fast and not striking while the iron's hot, that's on them. But you go against the Buffalo Bills, that's going to be a test. That's going to be a nice test. You play Green Bay Packers in Green Bay, that's going to be a test. Yeah, I know what you did to Green Bay earlier, but that's going to be a test. So I'll just leave it at that, man. And hey, we going to see come Thanksgiving games and all of these things. Just watch the game, homie. Just watch the game. That's all I'm going to say. You ain't got to listen to me. You ain't got to tell me if I'm right or wrong. I know I'm right. Most of the time. A majority of the time. But watch the game, homie. You're going to see what I'm talking about. You're going to be like, damn, oh, man, you know what? Lions do look kind of shaky. I know they say they leading in rushing and they're top 5 team in rushing, they're top 3 in rushing, they're top 3 in passing in the NFC. But damn, they do look beatable. The Falcons on a good day could get the Lions. Maybe I'm out my ways. Maybe I don't let the passion get to me just a little bit with the Falcons comment. Maybe just a little bit with the Falcons comment. I don't know, but we'll see. Look, I'm gonna leave y'all with this, man, because look, a couple days is gonna be Thanksgiving. By the time you hear this, it's gonna be Thanksgiving. You might listen to it on Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving. Who knows? I be trying to figure out when y'all listening to it. I don't know. Some statistics I can see, some stats I cannot see. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. But anyway, I'm gonna be out, man. I'm gonna leave y'all with a positive note too, because I like to do that. And with the sake of the holidays being here, all I'll say, man, is just be grateful for yours, man. Be grateful for yours. Whatever that is, whether you got big family, small family, family you hate, family you can't stand, just be grateful for yours. Be grateful. If you can't stand seeing your family, be grateful you don't have to see them all the time. If you love seeing your family, be grateful you're close with them. So I'm gonna just say that, man. That's the positive note for the day. You'll get an episode again, funky week. So you gonna probably get an episode sometime later this week. Shit, it might even be Saturday. I don't know, man. The holidays is crazy. So you'll get it at some point. Just know. But other than that, man, send it to a cousin, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a niece, a nephew, coworker, friend, family member, anyone you know who enjoys sports, especially if I talked about they whack Chicago Bears or their maybe fraud Lions. I don't know. I don't know. But just send it to them. I promise you they're not gonna mind. Other than that, we're gonna be back later on this week, and so on and so on and so on.